friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe music workshop. Okay, so I've got a little job to do here on one of my instruments. It's my Baritone Ukulele, which has a broken string. So I'm going to replace the strings on it. Being a baritone, this is strung and tuned D-G-B-E, so it's the same as the first 4 strings on a guitar, but they're nylon strings. So what I'm going to replace the strings with is these D'Addario Pro Art classical guitar strings. These are nylon strings. The strings 1 to 3 are nylon, and strings 4 to 6 are nylon wound with silver plated. There you go. Okay, so yeah, it's the first 4 strings of a guitar, D-G-B-E. So, one second, let me just get you all lined up there. Okay, first job I need to do is obviously take the old strings out, but before I do that, I'm just going to take the strap off so that it's out of my way. It's going to get in my way a bit. Okay. Right, so first thing I need is a puller to get these bridge pins out. So let's just, the other toolbox, always the same, isn't it? Okay, where is my string puller? Not in its usual place. Ah, there it is. Okay. So that's the string puller. So it's got the forks on the end that you put underneath the puller, and you can see you kind of lever it. Okay, so let's actually what I am going to do, this isn't a full set of strings. This has the G, B and E strings, but unfortunately not the D string. It's quite possible that these were the strings that I used for this originally. I honestly can't remember. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to obviously bin this string because it's broken, but the G string I'm going to take out and put here for the D, and then replace all the other strings with these new ones. The biggest problem with nylon strings is obviously they take a long time to stretch and settle down, so it will stay out of tune for quite some time. But that's not a problem. Okay, so first thing I need to do is loosen all the strings. Which takes quite a while. Maybe I should use my little old string winder. That will speed things up a bit. So just put it on the tuner and much faster that way. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, off comes that string. Okay. Right, these 2 strings I'm going to bin these, so I'll just loosen them a bit and then just cut them to save time. Right, that should be fine. So I'll just cut those off. Boom. Get those out of the way. Dump them on the floor for now. Okay, so whoops. So I'll get my bridge pin puller. and carefully pull out the pins, and I'm going to put them in my little holder, which is just an old guitar bridge mounted on a block of wood, just to keep them in order. It's not really all that necessary, but sometimes the bridge pins might be slightly different size or taper, and just to keep them in the same order they came out, just make sure there's not going to be any differences. Okay, let's take these old strings out. Okay, yeah, I thought I'd done this, couldn't remember to be honest, but let me just get the last one out and I'll show you what I did. It's easier said than done. Come on, out you come, there we go. Okay, so what I did with these is I tied guitar string loop ends on the end of them, just to make sure they don't slip out. So that's probably what I'm going to do with these strings. So as I said, I'm going to reuse the D string as my the G string as my D string, so I can just pop that one straight back in straight away. Okay, let's just line that up. Okay. So I'm going to take a little time to take these off and tie them onto the new strings. There's not really much point you watching me do that. I'm just going to be untying and tying knots. So when I've got those done, I will bring you back. So we'll pause for now. Okay, so that's all three strings with those metal eyes loops tied on the end. Okay, so start to string back up. Let's see, that's string number 3. So it's actually quite tricky to get these back through the holes. There we go. Yes, there you go. So that's going to be the hardest one because that's the thickest string. Okay, that's in. And number 2, which is that one there. Actually, this one's going to prove a bit tricky as well. In you go. In you go. Ooh, there we go. Okay, string number 1. Last one. Ooh. Typically, string number 1 is the most difficult to get back in the hole. Wow. It's going in now. Should do. There we go. Okay. Right, so that's all 4 strings in at that end. Now, when I string anything with nylon strings, the process is a little bit different to the metal strings. What I tend to do with the metal strings is wind them around the post 2, 3 or 4 times and then stick them through the hole. And that's because metal strings don't stretch anywhere near as much as nylon strings. So I'm just trying to get this into a position where you can see what I'm doing. So the difference with the nylon strings is what I tend to do is pull the string up taut. I can take that tag off the end there now. Okay, so I pull the string up taut, and then I go through the hole in the post, pull it taut. Okay, so the string is taut there, not tight, but taut. Then I'll go halfway around the post and back through the hole again, if it will fit. The number 3 string doesn't always fit through a second time. Let me just nip the end of that off. It's a bit burred over the end. I'll just nip the end off. Okay, and try and go back through the hole. Can't really see what I'm doing at this angle, but let me just turn it around just for a second so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go through. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I would rather it went through, but I don't think it's going to. It's just a bit too thick. That's fine. So what I will do instead is tie it back through itself. So the string's coming up here, through the hole in the sound post and back down. So I'm going to loop that underneath the string and then pull it taut that way, and that will lock it in place. So I'll just wind the string on a bit. Okay, so that is basically a knot that I've put in there, and that will hold the string in place and stop it from slipping out. That's the biggest problem with putting the nylon strings in. They do tend to slip sometimes. Okay, so that's the first string. Actually, it's the third string. I tend to put the inner strings in first and then the outer strings. So again, with string number 2, pull it up taut, through the hole in the sound post, sound post, what am I talking about? Tuning post. Okay, and then back round again, half a turn, and back through the hole again. This one should fit through. He says. There we go. So that's gone back through. So now pull that up taut. Okay, and start to wind the string on. That way. No, the other way. Okay, string number 1, same thing again. Up inside the post, through the sound hole. Okay, pull it up taut, around another half a turn, and back through the hole again. Now, many people might watch this and say, no, you're doing it wrong. That's not how you... Well, in my opinion, there's not really standard right and wrong ways to string an instrument. Everybody does it differently. This is my way. We know a song about that, don't we? I'm not marring that neck. Yes, I am a bit. Right, put it back on the bench. Just marking that neck a bit. Okay, string number 4. Now this is one of the metal wound strings, but it should still go through the hole twice. So through once. So this is a already used string, so it's obviously quite a bit shorter, but shouldn't be a problem. I might need to just again nip off the end of that. Okay, now it should go through quite easily. There we go, that's gone through. So pull that up taut. I'm actually going to pull it taut from the other direction. Because it's a used string, it will already be quite well stretched out. So we don't want to overstretch it. Let's just turn that peg around a bit. Pull that back through that way. Okay. Okay. Put that one on. Okay, so that's all the strings in. Obviously they now need to be tuned up, and as I said, with new nylon strings they will stretch and stretch and stretch and keep going out of tune. You've got to keep tuning them over and over again, and depending on how often you play your instrument, it can take a few days or up to a few weeks. I intend to play this quite a lot over the coming days, so hopefully the strings will settle down fairly quickly. So I don't need to worry about a tuner. This one has one built-in tuner there. So I am actually going to nip these ends off because they're really long. I'm not worried about them slipping out, so they can all be snipped off now. Fairly close to the post, but not too close, so that they don't slip out. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, nice and tidy. So let's start tuning her up. Just turn you around a bit. Uh-oh, here we go. Everything's falling about. Okay, 1 second. That's looking a bit unstable. Okay, how's that? Right, let's start to get it tuned up. Okay, so again I start with the inner strings. Yeah, it does take a while with nylon strings. Nearly there, that's a D. D sharp. Coming up to an E now. Okay, string 4, which is going to be D. Just make sure when I wind the string up that it's going underneath each of the last loops. You want the string to go down the post as you tension it. sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. That's gone down to an F, F sharp, G. That's gone down to an A sharp, B, D sharp, E. So you have to keep going through the strings, tightening them up, you know, until they stay at the right pitch, which does take a while, but there you go. I'm going to tune them all a little bit sharp, not too much, just a couple of cents. Yeah. So these strings are a fair bit quieter than the set that I had on before. I'm not really liking them, I've got to say. They just feel too loose. I mean, you could probably hear when I'm strumming it, you can kind of hear them slapping against the fretboard. I'll live with it for now, it's fine, because I don't really want to use another new set of strings. I will eventually get a proper set of baritone ukulele strings, but these will keep me going for now. I'm quite happy with that. So there it is, a baritone ukulele restring, D, G, B, E, and as I said, I will have to keep tuning them, playing it, tuning it, playing it, tuning it, until those strings settle down, and the sound will actually improve once the strings have settled. The sound does tend to improve quite a bit. So that's that little job. I've still got quite a few jobs in the pipeline. My electric baritone ukulele is obviously a project I'm in the middle of at the moment. There will be another video coming out for that very shortly. So I hope you enjoyed watching this little restring job on a baritone ukulele. And please like, comment and share. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and see if you can get friends, colleagues and relatives to do the same. So take care, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.